Break the ice. To initiate a conversation in a social setting. For example, he told a joke to break the ice at the party. Hit the sack. To go to bed. For example, I'm exhausted, I'm going to hit the sack. A piece of cake. Something very easy. For example, the exam was a piece of cake. Let the cat out of the bag. To reveal a secret. For example, she let the cat out of the bag about the surprise party. Under the weather. Feeling sick. For example, I'm feeling under the weather today. Cost an arm and a leg. Very expensive. For example, that new car cost an arm and a leg. Once in a blue moon. Very rarely. For example, we go out to eat once in a blue moon. Bite the bullet. To do something unpleasant that is unavoidable. For example, I had to bite the bullet and go to the dentist. Hit the nail on the head. To describe exactly what is causing a problem. For example, you hit the nail on the head with that explanation. Kill two birds with one stone. Accomplish two things at once. For example, I visited my parents and picked up mail two birds, one stone. Miss the boat. To miss an opportunity. For example, he missed the boat on that investment opportunity. The ball is in your court. It's your decision or responsibility now. For example, I've done my part. Now the ball is in your court. A blessing in disguise. Something that seems bad at first, but has a good result. For example, losing that job was a blessing in disguise. Burn the midnight oil. To work late into the night. For example, she burned the midnight oil to finish the project. When pigs fly. Something that will never happen. For example, he'll tidy his room when pigs fly. The best of both worlds. Enjoying two different opportunities at once. For example, remote work gives me the best of both worlds. Actions speak louder than words. What you do matters more than what you say. For example, he says he cares, but actions speak louder than words. Add fuel to the fire. To make a bad situation worse. For example, his sarcasm only added fuel to the fire. Barking up the wrong tree. Accusing the wrong person or idea. For example, you're barking up the wrong tree if you blame her. Cry over spilled milk. Be upset over something unchangeable. For example, it's no use crying over spilled milk. Every cloud has a silver lining. Good in every bad situation. For example, losing helped me grow. Every cloud has a silver lining. Let sleeping dogs lie. Avoid restarting old conflicts. For example, we decided to let sleeping dogs lie and move on. Put all your eggs in one basket. Rely on one single plan. For example, investing all your savings in one stock is risky. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Rome wasn't built in a day. Big things take time. For example, learning a language takes patience. Rome wasn't built in a day. Steal someone's thunder. Take attention or credit away. For example, he stole her thunder by announcing the idea first. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it too seriously. For example, he exaggerates. Take it with a grain of salt. The early bird catches the worm. Starting early leads to success. For example, she got the job because she arrived early. The early bird catches the worm. Throw in the towel. To give up. For example, after many tries, he threw in the towel. Walk on eggshells. Be overly careful. For example, we're walking on eggshells around him lately. Up in the air. Uncertain or undecided. For example, our holiday plans are still up in the air. Spill the beans. Reveal a secret. For example, he spilled the beans about the merger. Beat around the bush. Avoid getting to the point. For example, stop beating around the bush and tell me what's wrong. Hit the books. To study hard. For example, I need to hit the books before the exam. Go the extra mile. Do more than expected. For example, she always goes the extra mile for her clients. In hot water. In trouble. For example, he's in hot water for missing the deadline. Keep an eye on. Watch carefully. For example, can you keep an eye on my bag? On the same page. To agree. For example, let's meet to ensure we're on the same page. In the nick of time. Just in time. For example, the ambulance arrived in the nick of time. Break a leg. Good luck. For example, break a leg at your audition. A dime a dozen. Very common. For example, fake watches are a dime a dozen here. Burn bridges. Destroy relationships. For example, he burned bridges with his old boss. In a pickle. In a tough situation. For example, we're in a pickle without the key. Jump on the bandwagon. Join a trend. For example, everyone's jumping on the AI bandwagon. Read between the lines. Find hidden meaning. For example, she didn't say it, but read between the lines. Bite off more than you can chew. Take on too much. For example, he bit off more than he could chew with 3 jobs. Throw someone under the bus. Betray someone. For example, she threw me under the bus during the meeting. Give the benefit of the doubt. Believe without proof. For example, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time. Keep your chin up. Stay positive. For example, keep your chin up, we'll get through this.